All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So what I'm going to call this podcast is your identity wrapped up in your possessions? Because I think a lot of men, you know, judge themselves and others by the possessions they have. And I definitely think I was one of these guys when I was younger, especially. I kind of felt like if I didn't have certain things, I was a failure. It could be sports cars, it could be where I lived, it could be jewelry, it could be my clothing, it could be whatever. But I judged myself according to what I was kind of collecting or how I looked at all times to other people. And I get it. Okay, I understand a lot of us are like that. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to better yourself at all or make wealth or whatever. I want to make that very clear. But I do think sometimes what people, or men I should say, sometimes get lost in is when they maybe fall on hard times. And, they lose a lot of their possessions, because I've been there as well. It's hard. You kind of lose your identity. But I've thought throughout my life, when you're kind of at your brokest, or at your richest, I guess you could say, that's truly who you are sometimes. Because I've seen a lot of guys go broke, and they're just assholes. And they treat people like shit and they're mean. Not everybody. Some people are very humble. But a lot of times when guys hit real hard times, they're just, according to what I've been around, they're just dicks. They're not very friendly. They're mad at the world. They want to blame everybody else. And I understand when you're down and out, it sucks. But when your back is against the wall a lot of times, that's truly, I believe, who you are at times. And I also think, and I've been around very wealthy men, and a lot of times when you have that wealth, your true colors come out because you think you can behave and just kind of do whatever you want to do. And I also see a lot of wealthy dudes kind of disrespect others and not give a shit about anybody but themselves. And but then again, there's also, I know a lot of wealthy men that are big givers, wonderful. A lot of my close friends, family members are very wealthy, couldn't be bigger givers, wonderful people too. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about, people that are kind of, very selfish to a certain degree, and they can do whatever the hell they want to do. But in this situation, what I want to kind of talk about, I'm trying to keep these podcasts short, actually. So I'm trying to, always, narrow these down now to get the most information quickly. But your identity being wrapped up in your possessions is something I've been trying to kind of stay away from and not be so caught up with. Does that mean I don't still love to drive a nice car? Of course. I like to dress a certain way, of course, and travel or whatever the case may be. I get it. But I want people to know who I am truly by my behavior and by how, I am as a human being. The way I talk to people, maybe the way I help them, the way I communicate. It's not just about the way you see me, I guess you could say, and my surroundings. I kind of like to go a little bit now more than ever. It's not, the freedom of actually the last year and a half, me being able to really dress, I can't say, I guess down, but more fitness orientated. Kind of like when I was younger. It almost makes me feel like a teenager and not always having to be dressed up. And also not being caught up with the way people are going to perceive me, even going out for dinner now or doing certain things. I'm like, I don't always have to go out, meet people and it's not even to impress them. It's just not, I don't want to do it, I guess you could say. Where before I felt like, hey, if I'm not always going out to the most unique, hippest, coolest spots or spending money, that I'm kind of missing out on life, or I'm not, as hip as I once was, or all these things where I've just kind of wrapped my life into just being 100% of who I truly want to be at all times. It could be on social media, it could be on my podcast. I try to talk about the ups and downs, but I do think a lot of guys out there, they really judge or they value themselves regarding the type of car that they have, which if that's what you want to do, God bless you. The home, maybe the boat, the motorcycle. I get we all have identities, and I love that about everybody. I'm not saying to change anybody's identity or want to, but I just want a lot of guys out there to know, you may fall on hard times or you may not have money right now. Don't devalue yourself. I'm just telling you, just because you don't drive a Ferrari, right? Or you don't drive, I don't know, is it a Maserati or a Lamborghini, your dream car? You don't have the Harley you want, or you don't live in the community you want. Don't beat yourself up all the time. That doesn't mean if that's what you want to go after, but don't judge yourself always on possessions. You probably have a lot more to offer than you think. And I know a lot of us don't understand that at that point in time, but there's so many people I know out there that kind of just get depressed because of things that they don't have. And I understand that as well, but I'm here to tell you, kind of possessions in life, they come and go. A lot of times. Now, don't get me wrong. If you end up a millionaire, you're going to have possessions. You're going to be kicking it in the ass. But I do think a lot of people, again, you're going to have those ups and downs where you may have more than other times. You also may end up starting to have a family. So, before, like, everyone's identity, I think, after a certain amount of time changes too. Because you could go from a single dude to a dad, right? And if you look at your identity from the two, it changes a lot of times, also depending on where you work, and also as you get older, then you're a grandfather. But possessions are wonderful. I don't want to say anything bad about that, but I just wouldn't value yourself regarding what you have and don't have to a certain degree. Value every aspect of your life. I guess you could say. Value it. Value your life. I'm just telling you, don't get obsessed with what you don't have, is what I should say. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. You got any questions or comments, you can hit me up. I'm at masteringselfconfidence.com. I'm also at richcelenza.com. I try to help dudes. I use the word dude. I try to help guys a lot of times live an extraordinary life affordably. It doesn't mean, I'm trying to teach people how to live as a minimalist, or trying to live this extraordinary life and be poor. But I do try to take an honest approach because I think a lot of men out there want to live or can live great lives, even if they can't afford a lot of expensive things at this point in time. So I'll wrap it up there. Take care.